If you minia. Long live Ghana, man. Long live the baby man.
One time. So come go to Jenny Mumpire. So come for we are fire. I'm ready ever to you. Ghana, ready ever to you. When me free Ghana, me man penny I would know your friend on the plank no man. Me mini say na when my dear number your mama. I send back up baby na me say ya e me nwanwa. Here on no neje fan hu die. Get na raya sasun ye. E ya body de ma ye. Moja na no we go nya de to ho ma ye. Edru me ne wo go say ye be ye bi atwa so tie. Get na de be ya me ne wa. Ya me ne o time. Na me ya me ne o dia o. Wo so say Ray Obiana and then Jana and the young physical turns up and move from them from you come now and to Jomon come for you say a kind of no there be so did video some you know did Ghana City Obia baby and now to any greedy I better jank a bitty baby and I will go to Korea and go be in India when I was so young. Rene won't see my back when the prayer to San and could take and so woke up parliament I can't to me come go to my power me for jank and koya bawa na say master bibi a woman fan go shop on some tower anya sana koti power when I go try a bank power when me nyan sunset and never na ya kasa kwa me ye ya do mi pa uri muntie ngana man you pana edie me ya me ni uri a o ngana me ya me ni uri a o wo so no bia na bi o
Hello and welcome to another edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah and I'm joined by a special guest from Kenya. This is a powerful woman. I'm looking at her resume and it's just mind-blowing. But before we go there, remember, Jangle is next. So stay tuned for the Jangle. All right, so in today's Jangle, I want to take you to the roads and highways of Ghana. Some of you may not know, but in 2020, Ghana lost 2,527 lives on our roads. Certainly, that's a number that no one accepts. So what has happened? The National Road Safety Authority is doing something about it. And majority of these deaths, by the way, were caused by accidents which resulted from vehicles parked on the road that's abandoned. I mean, I'm going to show you some pictures right now. This is one of them, and there are several others, okay? People abandon their vehicles on the road when it spoils, or sometimes they're trying to repair it while it's in the middle of the highway. So the National Safety Authority wants to tow these vehicles away. The public say, no, we'll fight against it. So today's Jungle, I want to ask Ghanaians, what do we want? Are we fine with 2,500 people dying on a yearly basis? And if not, and the organization that's been charged to do something about it is doing something about it, you say no. But if they don't, you stop them from doing something about it and the numbers keep going high, you're going to blame them for not doing anything. What kind of people are we? So at some point, we have to dig down and see what we want, whether we want the status quo to continue, people dying, or we want a little bit of sacrifices. Some people may be uncomfortable because their vehicle breaks down. Yes, they may not have the money, but that person's interest should not supersede the interest of a general good where people are dying. So today, that's the Jangle. I want you to stay tuned. We'll be right back and you meet my amazing guests.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Make
makes you feel real good. That refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you glow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized feel different. Always think specialized. Special ice, natural mineral water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hello and welcome. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah. I am so delighted to be joined by the CEO of Timeless Dynamic Services, founder of Timeless Women of Wonder. I'm dying to hear about that. A chair of Global Innovation Society of Kenya, chair of the Laser Information Technology and Energy Services, and a member Leadership Ethics Values Initiatives, and host of Africa Founding Tours and Timeless Conference. How many hats do you wear? So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nyakan June. Nyakan, welcome to Diaspora.
Thank you so much.
I see you only have one hat on, but over here it looks like you've got tons of them. How do you juggle all these balls?
I think it's easy to juggle the balls, especially if you don't think that you're juggling the balls. If you just show up and do what you must do when you must do it.
Are you a philosopher?
No, not really.
Because when we're talking, you come up with lines that get me thinking. And I haven't looked at it like that. When you're juggling balls, you don't think about it that, oh yeah, I'm juggling too, but then you don't notice it.
Exactly.
I haven't looked at it from a perspective.
Yeah, you do what you need to do.
Right.
And then when people are looking at you, they will be seeing them as different balls, but you're just showing up in who you are.
Yeah.
Doing what you must do.
Wow.
When you must do it. So if you need to be a mother, you go into mother mood and you deliver motherhood.
Right.
If you need to be wife, you step into wife mode.
Okay.
You do wife mode.
Okay.
If you need to be CEO, you get into. So you just
and
do.
You do it all without thinking about
Yeah.
it. I think that consciousness, you're right, consciousness may have a way of stressing you. You're from Kenya.
Yes.
And I think the first time we met, I surprised you. I said, are you Luo or Kiki?
I know. Yeah.
But, I think that's something that we get into. For me, I see a sister, and I'm sure you see a brother.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What brings you to Ghana?
First of all, I think Ghana is just one of the countries that I think everybody should visit. The history behind Ghana, when you look at Africa's, history, Ghana plays a significant role. Okay. I consider myself an African. Okay. So if I'm asked what tribe, what country do I come from, I say I come from Africa. I think the blood that runs through my veins and runs through your veins is African.
That's right.
And I think it's about time we started to see each other as Africans. Then we get that common unified cause about and around our continent, what we want to see about it. And then wherever it is that we are in the continent, it won't really matter. Yeah. We see ourselves as part of that. Yeah. Our work and our vision is to actually deliver socio-economic transformation for Africa. What does that mean in English? In simple terms, is solving Africa's problems and creating wealth. Because I think it's about time that we do that. Okay. And we're doing it one country at a time. Okay. Much as our vision is Africa, we want to be able to do it in a paced out mode that actually delivers impact on the ground. So, we've been working in different countries. We began out of East Africa in Kenya, and then moved a little bit down to the southern African part of Africa. So doing a little bit of work there, a lot of work there. And then now we're coming up into the west part of Africa. And of course, Ghana is in West Africa.
When you mentioned African, do you think Africans understand our Pan-Africanism enough?
No, not consciously. Not consciously. Okay. Yeah. I think there's room for us to be more intentional and more conscious about what it means like to be African and actually that Pan-Africanism inside of us. I think we're a product of our culture, We're a product of our education. We're a product of our different experiences, which are definitely on and outside of the continent. So you find that people show up, as a combination of all these different things. So Pan-Africanism would entail a consciousness and an awareness about what's going on in the continent, our roles, our identity, and our narrative.
Yeah. But that's the ideal.
Yes.
However, the reality
Yes.
is that in Kenya, for example, we know what's going on between Luos and Kikuyu, in Ghana, Ashantis and other tribes. And I mean, what is it about us that makes it difficult for us to overcome that? Because the commonality is about 90%, sometimes even 95%.
Absolutely.
But why do you think we focus on that 5% as the biggest deal?
I think it's a couple of things, sincerely, I'd like to go back into pre-colonialism, right? What was Africa like then? What has Africa been at that time? And what is Africa post-colonialism? Because there's a big role that you can see. There's a big shift in how we were pre, during, and post. Pre-colonialism, Africa really was a strong nation. We didn't see ourselves as different countries, different people, different tribes. And we moved about north, south, east, west without any restrictions. We had silent communication even if we didn't have the same tribe.
Or language.
We had language. We had thousands of languages and hundreds of tribes. But we traded, we worked with each other. We didn't even have to know each other's language or tribe.
And the symbolisms were very close.
Very close.
Yeah.
But you see, when you begin then to make people aware of who they are in terms of differences, you come in, first you're black, you're white. Second of all, you're this tribe, you're that tribe. And then regions, you divide and segregate people around regions, around borders. Then people start to see themselves as Kenyan, Ugandan, Ghanaian, Nigerian, subconsciously, not consciously. But because those barriers exist, even though they are physical barriers, they're also psychological barriers. So psychologically, we start to see ourselves as different people.
When we were not, in fact, where this thing played in real time was in Rwanda.
Yes.
I spent all this time thinking Tutsis and Hutus were different people.
No.
They're exact same people.
Yes.
So somebody had to come in and say, oh, wait, you're tall, you're short, so that makes you this. And then that caused a genocide.
Imagine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we have in front of us that we have to work on. But for now, I want you to tell our viewers about yourselves. Yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I'm African. Very proud to be an African.
Okay.
And in terms of my background, I studied on the continent. I'm a computer scientist and business process engineer. So I spent a lot of time in private sector, turning around businesses, introducing efficiencies, enhancing revenues, and driving change through technology.
Okay.
And then, loved that, enjoyed that. Did what normal people do.
Right.
They are chasing the corporate ladder,
Right.
Improving themselves.
Okay.
I got married, I was having my second child, we're having a second child, and then I was diagnosed with a potentially terminal illness.
Okay.
And that then presented me with a situation where I could only probably have 6 months maximum to live.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was one of the most difficult moments in my life, but the turning point of my life. Because when you have 6 months to live, you review your life like a movie.
Right.
You can either run, hide, or face the storm.
Yeah.
I actually was playing my movie, young and trying to chase the corporate ladder, trying to do what most people do, titles and things like that. But in the face of death, those things are nothing.
Yeah.
They're fleeting.
Yeah.
And if you're honest with yourself, you begin to ask hard questions. What has my life been so far?
Yeah.
What does it account for? What's a legacy that I'm leaving?
So 6 months to live at that time when they told you that, did whatever it is that you have been able to accomplish materially, did it matter then?
It didn't matter at all because no amount of money, influence, or anything can give you life, can save your life.
Wow.
Nothing. No amount of good titles and promotions and the things that we feel we have done can save your life.
I wonder which is worse though, and you're going to tell me about how you transform when you turn that around. But we all go through life. We never know when it's going to happen.
I'm telling you.
Okay. I can get in my car right now and some crazy guy will hit me and then that's it. So death can happen at any time.
Yes.
But we're fine with it.
Yeah.
I wonder how different it is when you know, they tell you now,
Yeah.
on December 31st. What was it like?
It was hard. It was almost unreal.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that one moment you're fine, you're fit, you're okay.
Yeah.
And then just in the twinkling of an eye, the situation has changed.
Yeah.
And you're presented with a thing that is probably taking your life to a place that you can
Yeah.
turn back. And it was scary. It was almost unreal. You kind of, and why me? How is it me?
Yeah.
As if, who should it be then?
Who should it be?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Who should it be?
Hey, but we're selfish creatures.
Absolutely.
So-
And you're kind of thinking, really, me, of all the people? But
Yeah.
yes, it can
Yeah.
happen to
You.
anybody.
Yeah. So how did you turn it around? What happened?
I turned it around by just, by facing the storm, the reality that there's a possibility based on the facts and the evidence that I may not be around. However, I went deeper inside of my spirit to start to ask myself, so what has life been so far? What has the legacy been? What am I leaving behind? What was it all for? Did I even know what else to do on this earth? And the more I asked myself these things, the more I had this hollow feeling of emptiness, which was pointing me to the fact that without hiding away from myself, that I missed the point.
Right.
Because, I kept feeling Africa and people.
Okay.
And I did not know anything about Africa other than I'm an African.
Yeah.
Other than I am born in Africa.
Right. But
and
you started
people,
getting...
these things of what should I be doing? What should I have been doing
Okay.
for Africa? And what should I have been doing to impact people's lives? And I started to grasp desperately. The more that stood out at me, the more desperate I became to leave. And I began to negotiate with my maker, believe it or not. I did.
Look at that prayer.
I said,
I like that. So you didn't pray, you negotiated with your maker.
I negotiated with my maker. And I said, look, if I haven't discovered what I need to be doing for Africa by this point, it means that it doesn't make sense to take me. And I need to leave to find what it is and do it. Yeah? And please give me that second chance to leave so that I can find it and do it. So that should I be in this situation any other time, God forbid, before, I'll be able to be okay and say, fine, I have done this for Africa, and this is how I've impacted people. And so after that moment, that's why I say it was a turning point in my life, very profound.
Wow.
I immersed myself on the continent, in development, trying to
Can you
study.
explain why Africa, of all the subject matters that could come to you, like I want to do this, why Africa?
I would like to lie, but I would not lie. I would like to say that it was intentional. I think Africa, this is the reason behind it. But let me tell you, the answer is, it just kept standing out at me. I felt that it was a divine awareness, something that was pointing me to what I should have been doing.
Right.
And it was all pointing me to the continent.
And until then, before that time, did you have any Pan-Africans streaking you?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Until then, I was chasing the corporate ladder and doing life like most people do. I was chasing promotions, money, travel, the things we do that we think are important. That's what I was doing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is my death moment that pointed me to Africa.
Okay. So in a way, that must have been a calling.
It was.
It's like God said, all right, I want her to do this, but
exactly.
What's the best way to get her to do that? Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been in Ghana and you said, okay, let me go back and say, when you thought about Africa, and then the turnaround came.
Yeah.
How did you figure out what to do? Now you know the subject matter, Africa.
Absolutely.
At what point did you decide, I want to do A, B, C for Africa?
Yeah. I looked back at Africa. And at that point in time, what I had seen about Africa was all the images of poverty, all the narrative about the dark continent, the helplessness and hopelessness of the African people. That's all I was seeing, and that was my base point. And then I told myself, if all I'm hearing is Africa and the people, my call to Africa is likely to be to solve these problems and leave Africa a better place. Okay? And because I was a private sector person whose main stay was to turn around businesses, efficiency, revenues, and drive tech, then I knew that my input to Africa was definitely going to be wealth creation and solving problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, since then, how long has it been, by the way?
Since 2010, 11 years now.
11 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, since the call was 2004. So
call
that's
was
been 17 years.
Wait.
Yes.
So you had 6 months to live in 2004. And you've lived 17 years now.
After that.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we're going.
And my daughter was born.
Uh-huh.
She's beautiful. She's our second born.
Uh-huh.
We had 2 children after that.
Okay.
And she's 17 and brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant like the mother. All right. So you've been to Ghana. What other African country? You say you've been south? In Southern Africa?
Yeah. So we've got Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi.
Okay.
We have Malawi, Zambia, Botswana, South Africa.
And you've been through all
Zimbabwe, yes. And now we're, venturing into this
West Africa.
Yeah.
So when you decided to venture into West Africa, which was your first stop?
Ghana.
Why?
Because Ghana is strategic.
Okay.
Okay. We feel it's strategic. First of all, if you look at your GDP, it's strong. If you look at your currency, it's strong. It's pointing us to great potential.
Okay. Nigeria's GDP is the best at the top in the...
Who's?
Nigeria. It's the top in Africa.
That's true, but...
And it's in West Africa.
That's true.
So when you're looking at West Africa from Kenya...
You're also looking at currency.
Okay.
I know you could also compare it to Nigeria.
Okay.
But you're also looking at strategic location. And I'm not trying to, compare Nigeria, Ghana, whatever, but just trying to highlight what greatness and potential Ghana presents.
Right.
Okay. Whenever we're looking to go into a country, we also look at where we're interested in, but we also look at who is ready.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So when you look at both, then we determine, who is calling us, who is aligned, and who's ready.
Okay.
And who do we also want to go to.
Right.
So
but
that
you didn't just pick Ghana. I'm sure when you look at West Africa, you say, maybe this is a 5 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Ghana just jump at you, or you looked at other countries?
Both.
Okay.
Ghana did jump at us, but also we had leaders and people from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Senegal, Gambia, believe it or not, who were saying, bring Timeless to our country, bring it to West Africa.
Okay.
And, we said, okay, in the right time, we will get there.
Okay.
Right? But look at the Africa Common Free Trade Agreement. It's headquartered here. Right? For us, the vision of Timeless is to unlock the economic potential of Ghana. And we like practical business models for the continent that will actually unlock economic opportunities for the continent.
Okay.
So looking at trade is our key focus area, investments, unlocking skills for industry. Those are our focus areas, as an organization.
Right.
So when you're looking at the strategic alignment and importance, Ghana also presents that, so we can be able to tap into a lot of the things here. By the way, did you know that Ghana, you must know that, was the first African country to get independence? Although we know there are some that were not colonized.
Sub-Saharan,
yeah, but in Sub-Saharan. So it's also, the
so we have a lot
movement,
going
Pan-African, and all that stuff. Yeah.
So when you look at, pardon me, okay, we in West Africa, I've never been to East Africa. When we see East Africa, Kenya jumps out.
Yes.
From there, are you telling us from East Africa, when you look at West Africa,
yes,
Ghana is one that jumps at you guys?
Ghana and Nigeria both jump at us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so to that end, I'm going to say this. Of the many things, of the many hats that you wear, right? Which one brought you here? But because we're on TV, guess what?
Yes.
We got to go on a break.
Okay, sure.
When we come back, we will jump into what brought Yakan June to Ghana. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
As the national regulator of the communications industry in Ghana, the National Communications Authority seeks to ensure an environment that is safe and fair for consumers and service providers. NCA grants licenses and authorizations for operation of communication systems and services, develops guidelines to streamline communication activities, establish and monitor quality of service indicators for operators and service providers. NCA is in 8 regions: Accra, Tamale, Takoradi, Kumasi, Ho, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga. Do you have unresolved complaints with your service providers? Contact us on 0800110662, 0307011419 between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. from Monday to Friday, or visit our website at www.nca.org.gh and follow the procedure for filing a complaint or submitting enquiry. National Communications Authority, Communications for Development.
Welcome back to a special edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and I am joined by Nyakan June from Kenya.
Thank you.
Nyakan wears a million hats, but it's got to be one of them that brought you here. Which one was that?
I'd say two brought me here.
Okay.
So the Timeless Dynamic Services Limited Company literally works with public and private sector organizations to develop practical strategies to unlock economic value.
Okay.
So obviously in the countries that we're working with, we're looking at the national development agenda and how to operationalize that to bring economic value to the economy. And obviously private sector is a key player into the economy, so is private sector. So doing some conversations around that. And Ghana, as I've said, economically in terms of the continent, is just one country among the other many that need that. But separately, the main thing that brings our focus to Ghana, because that we could do as an ongoing thing, is the Timeless Women organization.
Okay, so I'm going to get to that. But when you say all those things, unlocking economic potential and all that stuff, you went to those countries in Eastern Africa before you got to Ghana, right? What experiences did you draw from there? And in those countries, what results did you drive there that you can point to and say, when we went there, this was what we were able to accomplish, and now we're taking that to the different part of Africa? Okay,
because of this, when you're looking at national development agendas and some of these private-public sector conversations, they tend to be somewhat confidential and work in progress. So what I can say about the works that we're doing there, a lot of them are in the pipeline, still ongoing, or some starting. And the experience is different, Southern Africa, East Africa, West Africa, different in terms of culture, context, preparation, the national development agenda. I was pleasantly surprised at the zeal, the passion, and the desire to really take national development to the next level in the Southern African countries. Because because they're mostly not visible, they're mostly not in the limelight, but there are great doing things there that I think was good, and the receptibility, the openness to really do engineer, model things that work.
Sector folks or public
private and public.
Because if there was one thing that Africans crave the most, it is that public sector folks don't do anything.
It's true, and they come against a lot of things. To be honest, they are mostly under-resourced, understaffed, high pressure, dealing with a lot of unpredictable, things, right? There's a lot of unpredictable things that come up. In the last 2 years, we've been dealing with COVID. That was not in National Development Plan. They are at the forefront of protecting, securing, and providing guidance to citizens, solutions. So they grapple with a lot of things. And these are real-time things. So I can understand when people are always bashing everything, there's a lot of things behind the scenes
that they don't see,
that government must deal with. And these are things that we have visibility behind the scenes to see.
That's in my jungle. That was one of the things that I have personally come in contact with, which is the fact that on the outside, people are not doing anything.
Exactly.
But in the inside, if you look at the constraints, because one constraint, when it comes to light, the public will say, oh, but why did the government do that? But because they don't know it's in the background, the government has to work all these things in the background before one step is taken. And so I think we need to do that. Okay, but now look at, you're in Ghana.
Yes.
Welcome to Ghana again.
Thank you so much. Right. It's been awesome.
I get to welcome you, and then you're leaving tonight.
I know.
All right. So what has it been so far since you got here?
It's been good. I think some of the things that we had in mind, assumed existed or was Ghana, we're pleasantly surprised that is.
Okay.
For example, a very aware, people, very intelligent, very driven people. That's the assumption we had, and that has been great to see.
Okay.
Yeah, it is what we see. I think the culture is absolutely great here.
Wow.
You guys, Ghana has a sense of pride in its culture. They showcase it, they promote it. The food is awesome.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what we're doing when I go back to Kenya, because I'm talking about Ghana food, Ghana food, Ghana food. People must come to eat this food. Yeah, but
Wait. You know, there is something going on between Ghana and Nigeria about
really,
jollof.
the jollof rice. I need to eat the Nigerian one
But you
to
tried
understand.
Ghana
Of course, I had to eat
Okay.
the jollof
All right.
of Ghana. Yes,
When you come on this show and you need to cast your vote between the two, be careful with your vote.
I'll be careful. Everywhere I go and they serve me jollof rice, they say ours is better than Nigeria.
There
Okay.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So how's timeless women of wonder?
Yes.
Now, this is the hat,
Yeah.
the main hat.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. Imagine when we thought about what to call the organization and the vision, which is really a movement of change for Africa. We said timeless women of wonder. Let's empower women to do wonders. Okay. And this was not an emotional strategy, because the issue of women and women's inclusion can sometimes get emotional. You know, when you look at the feminist movement, the human rights movement, and things like that, people may think, oh, here comes yet another women's arm. For us, it was strategic. Strategic on every sense. Because when you look, again, our focus is Africa. When you look at Africa, over 50% of Africa's population is female.
It's been consistently 50.
Consistently.
Yeah.
And right now it's between 50 to 60. In some countries,
Yeah.
it's 60% in Africa. The average does come down to around 50, 52.
Yeah.
But to be honest,
Right.
it shifts.
Yeah.
But even if it's 50-50, you're looking at 50% of your population primarily being left out of the conversation
Right.
of national economic development.
Yeah.
Where women are positioned in mass, they are one of the largest contributors to any economy in Africa.
Okay.
But their voices are significantly missing where it matters, which means the needs and the voices of women are left out in critical areas of national development.
Okay.
Now, if you're developing, but you don't have the insights and inputs of your largest demographic, it means you're playing at half capacity.
I mean, something jumps to mind. In Africa, on the entire continent, besides Madam Shirley Johnson in Liberia, who's no longer president,
Yes.
there is the Tanzanian president, what's
Yes.
her name?
Her Excellency Samia.
Samia.
Yes.
Is there any other woman?
There has been Her Excellency Joyce Banda in Malawi.
But they are George
Yes.
Manda in Malawi.
And there has been the president of Mauritius, previous
Mauritius,
president,
okay.
yeah. So
many?
Africa's,
Four?
yeah, four.
Four out of what?
54. And not just in many years, in over,
Right,
in over,
right,
in over 40,
right.
40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why? That means we're just ridiculously misogynistic society.
Yes.
How
and
does that work?
I think strategically it's not working right, because you're playing at half capacity. And that's why for us, we started an organization that's going to be very intentional and deliberate at bringing the voice, participation, and diversity of women in
Okay.
development.
All right.
Because imagine playing a football match with half of your players,
Yeah.
and you're playing against another team.
Okay.
You're going to really exert more
will say-
energy.
Some will say the other team is also playing with half their.
Well, that's true, but then you have to ask yourself, do you want to score more, or you want to just play at the level of your opponent?
That's it. So if
Right?
the opponent is playing with half of the
Team.
you look to play with the full thing.
Full
all right?
thing, you're going to be ahead.
How is yours different from most other women-centered organizations?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that, because that's so critical. Without necessarily having to compare, because I think every organization has its vision and mandate and reasons for existence. And, you know, if we all do what we need to do, hopefully we'll all win. For us, we thought that it's very important that we focus very intentionally on socioeconomic. Okay? There's lots of things that are challenging Africa, that Africa needs, that women need. You know, HIV/AIDS, you know, trying to deal with the issue of, you know, female genital mutilation, cancer, you know, education, human rights, trafficking. There's a lot of things. But
You
we
didn't mention abuse. It's
and
very
abuse, oh my
prevalent in
goodness,
this
gender-based violence,
Yeah.
another story.
Yeah.
And there's many things that we could have said, let's deal with gender-based violence, abuse, and all that stuff. But we sat down and said, look, if we have many different people dealing with those things, let us deal with economic empowerment.
Okay.
And solving problems and empowering women economically. Because for us, we felt that a stronger family, a family where both male and female can contribute economically, is a better positioned family.
Right.
The quality of life is improved, whether it's health, education, whatever the things are, and your next generation is guaranteed.
Okay.
Okay?
So you're going to run against, if you're looking to empower women at a place called Africa,
Yeah.
you're going to run into the means of the world.
Absolutely.
You have men who are intimidated by
Yes.
successful women.
Uh-huh.
So as a woman, you become successful and you basically develop yourself out of contention.
Uh-huh. Yes. Out of contention because the men want the one who's not developed.
Exactly. Haven't you seen a powerful, successful woman and all the men are like, whoa, I'm not going to go
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
So how does that play into this?
A couple of ways, and I'm really glad that you asked me about that. What's unique about TWEL? One is that we're dealing with socioeconomic, so we're very key on economic empowerment, and hopefully that will also help to resolve other things, gender-based violence, unplanned marriages, sex for marriage, because if they're economically empowered, they don't need to do that. The second thing, though, that you speak to is the issue of men, right? Because if you're trying to empower women, you're coming against men.
Yeah.
We were, especially in Africa context, because of culture, religion, and all these things, we were very deliberate from the onset that in our 7 strategic pillars, we have one pillar that is called men.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we are not going to be, we decided also we have to be strategic. If we're going to be driving this movement of empowering women, we must not be ignorant of the fact that we may have resistance from men, and men can either become barriers or bridges.
Okay.
We chose the latter.
Okay.
And we say that let us have a pillar that is dedicated as a strategic pillar in our movement and in our work that has men in it. Because men fight what they don't understand, they support what they understand.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good.
Our understanding of what men and how men see things is from a point of value, not from emotions.
Okay. And then some
Yeah.
will say that men, I'm speaking from the perspective of the man who wants to resist you.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Good.
And I'm glad we're talking about that man.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
But if I help you, that runs against my interest.
And I want to ask then, if you're representing that man who's resisting, what is your interest?
My interest is to dominate women.
Okay.
That's what makes me feel like a man. Why should I help you empower a woman?
Yeah. So that's true, and 2 things then for us, because we're not ignorant of the fact that that's probably true in the culture that we are in, right? You've rightly said that women who seem strong, seem empowered, the men take off. They feel intimidated because they're like, I can't dominate her. Yeah. I can't oppress her. She
and
can't
by the
be
way,
subservient.
I'm sorry to interject.
Yes.
There are some men who appreciate a stronger woman.
Yeah.
Because we see that as an intellectual, practice for us.
Yeah.
If I'm at home with you and you're able to ask me the right questions intellectually, you develop me to be a better competitor out there.
Exactly.
But if I'm home and
Yeah.
if I sneeze, you say, oh, that was a great sneeze. If I do everything, you blow my head to be like this, and then when I go out, the first man I see takes me to the cleaners. And so some men believe that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're in the minority.
You're in the minority. So how do we deal with this is strategically.
Okay.
Like I said, men fight what they don't understand.
Okay.
Okay. And when we were thinking about setting up a women's organization and an organization that was going to drive Africa's economic transformation through women in partnership with men, yes.
Okay.
We asked ourselves, are we the first to think this? No. There are many other women's organizations, and the women movement has been active for decades, hundreds of years, some even in some areas. So we asked ourselves, then why are we not where we need to be?
Okay.
And Africa, yes, we We've really been there. And pre-colonialism, by the way, did you know that African societies had women council? That means they valued the role and the voices of women.
On paper?
On paper? No. In reality,
Okay.
in the pre-colonial, traditional African setting, there was a women's council and a consultation of that. They had their place.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
in our today, it's on paper. They are not
that's what I'm
consulted.
saying.
They're not whatever. It's just a tip to whatever. So we said, you know what? Two things that could cause us to have more resistance from men already on top of what we're facing would be the narrative that women are coming out with as far as empowerment is concerned. And we went ahead before setting up the organization to see, are we really trying to change things? And will we really be successful in light of our environment? And so we did a bit of research. Why are women not making headway? Why are men continuing to fight and kill? Why can't they see the value of empowering a woman? Obviously, there is a mindset and culture where a man feels, no, if she grows up, gets empowered, she'll intimidate me, I won't have my position, is threatened, and so I must subdue her. There's that thinking. But there's also the thinking of what I have said, but men don't understand the fight. And what do I mean by that? We looked at the Beijing plan of action, the Beijing declaration that was put out in the 1984-85 period. And growing up as a little girl, I didn't like that document. Anything that said Beijing just removed trauma in my spirit, because it was perceived, and even my president and media in my country and in the region, when you looked at media and cartoon about Beijing, it was images of women pulling out men's belts, whipping men, and wearing the trousers.
Wow.
So that narrative, if it was in the mind of men that this is how empowered women look, and empowered women take our positions, and they whip us out of position, any man is likely to fight that and not want it. So when you start to talk about women empowerment, it's a block. So one thing we notice is the narrative has to shift. We must be coming to the table around men, because there's already that perception, say it spoken or unspoken, that women, once they're empowered, they strip you of your power, of your position, of everything. So the narrative has to be shifted. And we shifted it by bringing value and saying, if you empower a woman, if you're a CEO, for example, because we're in the real world, we need, let's say there's a board of 12 members, all male, and you want to get women in so that you bring in the diversity. If you go in with the narrative that, women must come in, and the men ask why? Oh, because you're all men. That's not cutting it for men, because they're like, this is our club, we're securing our club, we don't need you guys in for what? So that you can take the belts. But if you come in and say, look, your largest consumer decisions, 94% are driven by women, right? Women hold more than 70% of the decision-making power as far as purchasing power is concerned. So when you're in the board doing your strategies, you're losing out on the mind and the representation of your largest consumer. So you need 2 or 3 people who are representing your consumer. Men can see value in that. And in the next round of cycle, they'll be like, let's seed 3 so that we can have 3 more in, right?
Okay. So does a woman have her place?
Absolutely. I think that a woman has her place, and we must be intentional about how we're bringing her into the equation, right? Yeah.
The reason why I ask is that if you're a woman and you're in a power position, I've seen instances where the stronger the woman is, the more turn off the man. At the same time, if she's not as strong and she acts like a typical woman, oh, she's weak. What's a woman to do? Again,
back to when you talk about the narrative, it's to be what the men understand and how the women are speaking. Women sometimes think that in order for them to be at the same table with men, they must be male. They must be strong and harsh. They must wear trousers. They must kind of like become male to be respected as males. The minute women understand that you show up with who you are, in the fullness of who you are, female and feminine, but bringing value, then you're okay. You get your position, you're respected in that position.
I think in investigating this, I've got it. The theme is bringing value.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, no matter how, as a man, I feel about
exactly.
If you're bringing value,
That's it.
If you're going to make money for my company and everything,
Things.
I don't care if you're wearing a skirt or
whatever. Yeah. And the female needs to understand that she can show up in who she is.
Right.
You don't have to start backing, talking, imitating, whatever. Just be okay in who you are.
And bring
if
value.
you bring value, it just makes
Very
sense.
good.
Yeah.
We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back in our final segment, we will talk about the event. You're planning an event?
Yes.
We'll be right back. This is Diaspora Weekly.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you glow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized, feel different. Always be specialized. Special Ice Natural Mineral Water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine in Chroma, and I'm joined by Nyakan June, woman of many hats, but bringing value. I like that part because for me, I'm about value. If you're not bringing value, forget about it. You're in Ghana, and I ran into you with another woman of substance.
Yes.
What are you guys planning?
Yes. So every year in February, our organization, Timeless Women of Wonder, we call it TWOW, holds. Yeah, we want you to say wow. Yeah, we hold.
TWOW.
Yeah, TWOW. We hold an annual conference that brings global leaders, primarily in Africa, from government, from private sector, development communities, into a 2-day conversation. Okay. Where we discuss what do we need to do in Africa and how must we do it. We need to move from talk to action. We need to begin to implement things that work for Africa. And we've been doing this now for 8 years, hosting an annual, this is going to be the 8th annual conference that we're hosting in Africa.
Okay.
We began 5 years in Kenya and began to rotate after 5 years because we had understood how you convene and how you actualize these ideas. And we've done Rwanda on the 6th year. We've done Malawi on the 7th year, and Ghana is going to host the 8th year.
Okay.
So February 24th to 25th, 2 days of conversations about Africa with women, youth, and SMEs, okay, as key drivers of change. So we are inviting women from diaspora, from all over Africa, from the Caribbean, from Asia to come in and engage with the theme called Leadership for Trade. We're actually going to be activating trade.
Okay.
On one of the days, we'll actually be trading and networking, because we need to be able to make the connections and to be able to unlock and open up opportunities for us to connect and to trade in the continent and outside of the continent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why February?
Interesting. Good question. Because we feel like, I think it's about time that we challenge ourselves to move into action as an African people. When you start something early enough, it gives you time to be able to implement. And if we're going to be able to hold ourselves to account, what did we do? Every year we say, what are we doing? Then, when we start early enough, January is just, beginning of the year. February is good enough to be able to engage, develop initiatives and outcomes that we have enough time to then coalesce around what it is that we've agreed. Maybe 3 months after that, we are connecting with the people who are there. But surely by mid-year, we need to start moving into
So then in that case, then why not January? Why February?
You're right.
I guess I'm driving to the coincidence with February being Black History Month.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. We've never thought about it.
Oh,
But
really?
that's yeah.
So it
but
wasn't
it was not
considered.
ever. It was
Okay.
never in it. But it's good to know that.
Okay.
And February also for us is because the Africa Union meets in January.
Okay, good.
And you don't want to, all the people we're looking at and who are always in that
They'll be at
platform,
Addis Ababa.
they'll be at the Africa Union Summit. And their presidents will be engaged as well in the Africa Union Summit. March is always the International Women's Month. We want to have our outcomes prior to that.
Okay.
And also, you have the CSW global, United Nations meetings around development and women happens in March. So hopefully we already have our outcomes and our inputs into such platforms.
Conferences have this interesting way of being a show of camaraderie and everything. And then at the end of it, you say, you get on a plane and you say, okay, what did we accomplish?
Exactly.
What is the experience, the first ones being like?
Yeah, if you're in Kenya, I'd have given you a high five on that one. Okay. When we were starting the conferences, we said, even the word conference is not attractive to us, but because we can't say we're convening a platform for dialogue and action, it's too mouthy. We said, let's just call it a conference, but let's differentiate it by what we do.
Okay.
When we come there, you will find we don't have PowerPoint presentations.
Okay.
This is not the place to do PowerPoint presentations. This is a place to engage, brainstorm, strategize, and develop actionable outcomes. We can have 20, 50, hundreds of ideas. By the time we're dealing with the conference, we say, what are the 2-3 things that we're going to do? Because we don't want many complex things. You've got very high-level people, women, men, youth, SMEs that have given up their time to come and engage their brains, their desires, and what they'd love to do. You can't waste that input. You've got to get it to some outcome that will turn the needle. So actionable outcomes is extremely important. Networking, we're very deliberate about connecting people. You must come and leave the conference surely having met either people you know, but doing something, you can do something together, or people you didn't know before that you can do something together with. And then knowledge. We are very intentional about providing knowledge that can help people move to the next level. And the second day is marketplace. We must trade. We must do business.
So now, you've stressed on the trading.
Yes.
What type of trading?
It means that 2 things. There could be people who want to do business in Africa, do not know how. So you come in, meet people that you can actually connect, unlock, and vice versa. You want to do business in the Caribbean or wherever, you meet people who are doing that or interested. Second thing is, you actually, remember we want to promote opportunities for women. And for SMEs, because those are our niche. Those are the drivers of Africa's economy. So we are very intentional. So we provide an avenue for them to sell whatever they're making. So for example, that's why we're rotating in different countries. When we're in Ghana, 80%, 60 to 70 at least of our trading people should be of local, so that the world can see what Ghana has, can see what Malawi has, Rwanda, whichever country we're in, next countries, and promote that country's merchandise, products, and services. So that beyond the conference, you're already unlocking economic opportunities for that country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the speakers who have, I guess, politicians, presidents who have spoken to in the past, did they provide you with just lip service, or the stuff that they mentioned, they spoke about at your conference, A, they meant them, or B, they've been able to follow up on those things?
You're right. I'd say mixed. Most people, just like you and me, see conferences as just showbiz. We'll come up in the conference. These guys sound different, but are we sure, they're any different? So they come with that mind of, you say you're a bit different, fine, we'll come, we'll just do what we normally do. And a couple of them have, when they're engaging, seen, oh my goodness, this platform is different. These conversations are real. You're not just engaging these leaders on a point of, or Jermaine, what do you think? Jermaine, what do you think? How are we moving it to the next level? What's your commitment? And so they quickly think about the commitments. They get their ministers or whoever to commit, and a lot of them have followed on the commitments. But we actually have a collaborative mode where we need private sector in there, government and development, to move the things forward.
All right. So we're gonna bring this to a close, and but I want to ask you, with what you've started, right? When you look down 5-10 years from now, how do you see the African? What's the image of the African woman that you see as a result of what you're doing?
I see an African woman who's inspired. Inspired, the word inspire means to breathe life out of, basically dead. Inspire is breathe life into. So they are vibrant, they're inspired, they want to contribute in whatever area they're in towards their nation or community's development. I see women who are skilled, they are empowered and supported to be the best expression of who they are. I see governments and communities and private sector embracing the value and the importance of having inclusivity inside of their strategy, not as a gift and a token, but as strategy, because they understand the strategic value that inclusive, transformation brings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very
And then I see a prosperous Africa, because we'll be winning.
let me tell
We'll
you,
have both men and women,
Let me tell you,
at the center of Africa's
Africa
transformation.
Is the next
It
frontier.
is. It is.
Why is it that everybody around the world call this continent the next frontier?
It is.
And with what you're doing,
Yeah.
empowering women, bringing value,
Yes.
hopefully,
Yeah.
with hard work, we'll get Africa to where it really needs to
Absolutely.
be. Because you know what, like you rightfully said, you cannot go into a soccer game playing with half your team.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't even make any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mindset of the man.
Yeah.
What have we done all this
I know.
time? Putting women in the kitchen and everything. How far has that gotten us? And who is that? Who said that the definition of insanity is doing what? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yes.
June, Yaka,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank
And
you for
this
having
has
me.
been an amazing edition of Diaspora Weekly. I've learned a
Yes.
lot about women empowerment.
Yes.
And I can look in the camera and say that Diaspora Network Television is in full support of this project. And
Thank
can
you.
count
The
on us
Timeless
anytime.
Conference.
The
Timeless Conference. Yes.
Timeless Go. And you call it T-Wow.
T-Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you know something. T-Wow.
Yes.
It's a Timeless Women of Wonder, and the conference is Timeless Conference.
Yes.
Coming on. Do you have a date for us?
24th and 25th.
February 24th, 25th, 2022. Mark it on your calendar.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. This
Yeah.
has been Diaspora Weekly.
Yes. Thank you.
Long live God of mine. Long live the baby mine.
One time. So come go to Jenny Bumpire. So come from we up fire. I'm ready ever to you. Gonna make the ever to you. Let me free Ghana. Me man penny I would know your friend on Dr. Nkrumah. Me mini sana when my dear number your mama. I send back up baby na mente ya eya me nwanwa. Yeah, ono na je fan hu die. Ya nara ya sasun ye. Eya body de ma ye. Moja na no hie gunya de to ho ma ye. Edru me ne wo to say ye be ye bi atwa so tie. Gana de be ya me ne wa. Ya me ne o na me ya me ne o dia o. Wo so no bien ya bi o. Say, we will be on the wall and then you're Jana, and the young physical turns up and move from them from